So this thing is fat, it's bulky, it's blocky, it has low capacity and a crappy trigger. So why are we still in love with the humble Glock 26? Welcome back to OG's Danger Show. So I bought this Glock 26 from Palmetto State Armory. They were running a special where they had these police trade-in, lightly used, like most police trade-ins, for $300. I've always wanted a Glock 26. There's no reason for it. They're outdated, they're boxy, they're bulky, but I've always wanted a Glock 26, and for $300 I couldn't pass up that deal. When mine showed up at my FFL, the first thing I noticed was that the thing had been actually used. A lot of police trade-in guns have been carried a lot and used a little. This one had actually been shot. You could tell by the barrel wear on it. In fact, you can kind of see right there. So it had been used, but I always wonder where or who carried this thing and where they were in a police agency. Now, my Glock 26 came from an agency that must have some kind of rules about heavy triggers, because this thing had I think one of those New York triggers in it. It's supposed to be an 8-pound trigger. However, this trigger had to have been like, I don't know, 45, 50 pounds. It was an extremely tough trigger. That combined with the factory plastic sights, I couldn't hit shit with this gun. Boy, still fun. I liked it. I really liked the gun, but I knew that if I was going to make this a viable carry pistol, something that I could actually use out here in the world and bet my life on, that I needed to do some improvements. So the first thing I decided to do was put a dot on this old Gen 2 gun that did not have any MOS cuts. I sent my slide away to Jaegerworks, and let me tell you, the boys over at Jaegerworks are the shit. They have done quite a few pistols for me now, and boy, anytime I have machining work to be done, I sent it over to Jaegerworks. All of these pistols are products of Jaegerworks. They were all original flat slide pistols, no MOS cuts. I sent them away to Jaegerworks over in Michigan, and they cut all the slides for me. They Cerakoted those slides in whatever color I chose. They mounted the optics, if I included those optics, and the suppressor height sights. Throw those all in the box and they'll do all that work for you. That's pretty dang cool. I love shouting out good companies that I really like. They don't pay me to say anything good about them. They don't give me free product or free services. I just really like their work. And I think you guys, if you're looking at having slides cut, have dots put on your slides, you really can't go any better than Jaegerworks. And here's a cool bonus. A couple of weeks later, I get the slide back in the mail. And yes, I cracked it open at the post office because it's just a slide, not a firearm. I was very excited to open it and see what they had done. When I opened the slide, I found a little pink Post-it note jammed up inside of the ejection port here. And as I pulled it out, I read on there that the guys down at Jaegerworks, and this is out in Michigan, to me they're kind of a big deal, but I was shocked to find out that they watch OG's Danger Show and Tau Fledermaus. So yes, they also have poor choice in YouTube viewing habits. But after that, I thought it was probably time to get some handle-it grips. This is their new Edge series, and this gives me a nice, it is rubbery, but it's a little gritty. I don't even know how to explain it. But that Edge series texture on there gives me just a much better purchase on this little pistol, which can tend to get out of my hand because there's not a lot to grab onto there. So with these few upgrades, I have turned this pistol into something now that I can shoot. Oh, and I almost forgot. I don't mess with the internals hardly ever on a Glock, but I could not stand that 45-pound trigger that was on this little Glock 26 as it came from this police agency. So I bought I think it's a 3.5-pound Ghost connector. I threw that into the gun, and they always say 3.5 pounds. I probably should test this out here with my little trigger pull gauge, but I have a feeling this is a little bit closer to 4 to 4.5 pound trigger, but just so much better than as it came from that agency. I feel bad for whatever detective, investigator, or whoever had to carry this thing with that bastard of a trigger and those plastic factory sights. I just noticed looking in the camera here that I'm getting a little long in the hair. Gosh, I'm going to start voting for Bernie Sanders pretty soon if I don't get this stuff cut. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but I go get my hair cut, and every few weeks I'll check in the mirror, and it's gotten longer. So I don't know what's going on out there, but something fishy's going on. I don't know if it's the John Birch Society or the Illuminati or the Israelis. Another hidden benefit of these little chunky subcompact pistols, they used to be the cutting edge of tiny gun technology. Now they're a little blocky, and while most people think of that as a drawback, I've got this fat little gun, how do I carry that thing? Well, first of all, the difference in the size of these things is very, very little. Glock 26, Shield Plus, SIG 365. Now imagine 9mm recoil going off in your hand. It's not harsh, we can all agree on that. But 9mm recoil spread over a wider backstrap into the little crook of your hand here is actually going to be far more comfortable to shoot and less recoily than if you take that same recoil and stick it into a narrow little backstrap of a pistol. The Shield Plus has a little bit thinner backstrap than even the SIG 365, but these, when they recoil, they're not harsh. I shoot them all the time, but you do notice the recoil more when it's concentrated on a thinner area. One thing I've always been curious about, and not that it matters a whole lot, but what is the velocity difference between, say, a Glock 34 with a full, I don't know, 5-point-something inch barrel, all the way down to the humble Glock 26 with a 3.3-inch barrel? We've got the Glock 19 with a 4-point-something. The 19X, of course, has the exact same barrel, 4-point-something. And the Glock 17 here, not even sure what it is, 4.5. Fortunately, my Patreon donors allowed me to go out and get one of these fancy Garmin, what are these things? Chronograph? Beats the hell out of the old bread box thing that sold by Caldwell where you had to shoot through a screen. This thing doesn't have to be anywhere near the firearm. It just has to be looking downrange. So we're going to set this up on the hood of the truck, and we're going to get some rounds downrange and see what the velocity difference is. Not that it matters, but we'll make this short. All right, here we go. The Glock 34 velocity. 1166.2. The Glock 17, this is 115 grain ball ammunition and a hollow sun. Shot number 2, 1115.5. The Glock 19X, one of my favorite carry pistols. Let's see if there's any difference here with the shorter barrel. 1107. Boy, that's almost nothing. The Glock 19, no X on this one. Should have exactly the same velocities or pretty dang close. By the way, these last two pistols, 1168. That's actually hotter out of this barrel. This is a Bear Creek Arsenal threaded barrel. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. A little bit hotter than the others. And then the Glock 26 with its 3.3-inch barrel. $10.80. So the Glock 26 did come in a little bit lower, but not a whole lot. Pretty much these other pistols were registering in about 1115, 1116 for the bigger pistols. Aside from that anomaly with an aftermarket barrel, this Glock 26 came in at 1080. So we're only talking about 35 feet per second difference. Hey, if you guys are interested in steel targets like I use out here, I love these things. I have a video on the benefits of shooting steel, and you guys know steel is just one of the funnest things you can do out here at the range. If you need some man-portable targets, things that you can take apart, put in the trunk of your car, put in the back of your truck, put out on the back of your property, run down to the range, whatever you want to do with these things, they are awesome little targets. Challenge Targets makes these things. I don't remember the actual name of the cutout here, but I'm going to put it across the bottom of the screen. I love these things. They're the only thing I use anymore, although I paid for these things full boat. The owner of Challenge Targets has given you guys a discount code. If you want to make your own purchase over there at Challenge Targets, use this code OGDS10. Get 10% off. You guys are going to love these things. They're pretty much the only thing I use anymore for rifles, shotguns, and pistols. Now, I don't own a Glock 43X. I did a video pitting the 43X against my Shield Plus, and it was pretty clear in the video to everybody who watched it, as well as myself. If you want to watch it right here, I'll put the little card up here, and I'll put the little thumbnail. It became pretty clear to me that I belonged with the Shield as far as a sub-compact pistol, but the Glock 26 was sort of taken out of commission by the 43X. It comes in thinner. It comes in lighter. It has a shorter barrel, not that that affects velocity a whole lot, as we've seen out here. And it has become the new cool thing, mostly because it comes now MOS, and you can put your favorite optics on there. But I think if you have one of these old guns, just send it off to a place like Jaegerworks and have your slide cut for a red dot. Maybe I should do a video on the awesome red dot on pistols now, but I shoot far more accurately and far quicker with a red dot on my pistols than I do with open sights. I can still run them, but most of my guns are starting to convert over to red dot pistols of one form or another. I know a lot of you guys don't believe in the humble red dot, but in this case green dot. But I'll tell you what, at almost 20 yards away, I'm able to make headshots if I slow down and do the right thing with this little dinky compact pistol. I don't know if I could do that with just the iron sights. At least I couldn't do it as quick. Man, love it. And that's why this actually becomes a more capable pistol, is really because of that green dot on top. Otherwise, it is still sticking to its outdated mode. So here's an example of some other pistols that I have on my gun wall. There are a lot more out there, but these are the ones I have on my gun wall that have kind of taken the market from the Glock 26. We have the SIG 365, shorter, lighter, shorter from nose to butt, thinner, easier to carry up against your body. You can see the differences in height there. Not nearly as blocky, and carries 12 rounds in its little almost flush magazine, and you can obviously add the other 15, 22, whatever capacity magazines, but 10 rounds from the factory, 12 rounds from the factory. And then I also have out here with me today the Shield Plus. This is one of my favorite hot weather carry guns. The Shield Plus, as you can see here, is roughly the same dimensions as the Glock 26. However, even though it's the Plus, it is quite a bit thinner than the Glock 26. In theory, that makes it easier to carry up against you. Appendix inside the waistband makes it print less. So I love my little Shield Plus, but since I got this thing back from Jaegerworks, I sure have been carrying this a lot. Hey, once again, a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters who helped me buy ammo for this video. Thank you guys very much. And if you want to help us out on Patreon, link down here in the description section. Thank you. So kind of cool story, for me at least. When I got into law enforcement in 1999, my dad, who has since passed away, asked to buy my duty pistol. While my agency was issuing their pistols, they wouldn't allow you to carry a privately purchased pistol, except as a backup. So I told him that I'd be more than happy to have him buy my backup. He bought me a Glock 27. That's because at the time, the Glock 27 was the only, and I mean the only, small, compact, or subcompact 40 caliber pistol out there. And everybody in my agency, where we carried 40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistols, everybody in my agency carried the Glock 27. Bulky, clunky, rather large Glock 27, sometimes on their ankles, but this was the backup gun of choice for my agency back in the day. And I've kept mine ever since. It's got a little kick to it, but just love this gun still. And because my dad bought it for me, it's got special meaning. It's going to be with me till my final days. And yes, I still do actually carry this thing from time to time. Iron sights, 40 caliber, boxy little package. Come on. So I'm glad you guys stopped by to listen to the story of about a 30-year-old pistol. I really love it. I think you guys are going to like one too if you can get your hands on one. So if you see one out there for 300 bucks, you just can't go wrong. It even gives you a little side change to kind of pimp the thing out. I appreciate you guys stopping by, giving the video a thumbs up down here, commenting underneath, and even better, hit the little share button and send it to a buddy of yours who might have a Glock 26 or thinks you're crazy for owning one. Anyway, these are crazy times. You guys stay safe out there, stay armed wherever and whenever you can. And until next video, OG out.